you have 2 weeks ago, a week ago, probably their best show yet. This week, probably their worst show yet. So you have a dynamic. You have a dynamic built up, and it's very easy to see what was good and what was bad. And maybe going forward, instead of one, maybe what if we only had, how would you feel about this? One or the other, a Nightmare Collective or a Dark Order segment.
Which one would I choose to keep?
No, if you just had one each week instead of two.
Oh. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the better course is 0. So yeah, but yeah, like to your point, right? They can have shows that are not 100% strong, but they have to learn from that and figure out either how to fix it or take it off TV, and not just be spiteful like WWE does and put it on TV even more, regardless. So that's what I'm looking for them. So I mean, I give them credit for trying different things. Not everything's going to be a grand slam, but they have to take the things that are not and either fix them or turn them into characters. Like then start having Dark Order lose a bunch of matches. Then if nobody likes them, right? That's fans want to see them lose. That's what they should do, right? Not put them over and try to have them recruit people. And the John Silver and Alex Reynolds is not helping. That's not helping them at all. So how you can get Dark Order over? I have a spoiler. You know how to get them over? Have them wrestle. They're really good. They're very good wrestlers. Go look at Dark Order versus the Go look at the Super Smash Brothers versus the Young Bucks versus O'Reilly and Adam Cole from PWG. Go look at the Young Bucks versus Evil Uno and Stu Grayson from Ring of Honor. They're very good, very capable wrestlers. So I mean, if you want, just let them wrestle, man. That's fine. The other thing I want to touch on that I liked a lot, the whole Pentagon getting in Christopher Daniels' head and them really using... You didn't like it? No.
Talk to me. Why didn't you like it?
Too much. So that happened, I think, shortly after the women's match ended, which had, buco interference in it. And then the next match, or one of the next matches, was Christopher Daniels and Sammy Guevara, and that also wound up with Pentagon coming out and distracting him on the microphone, that to me screamed something right out of Monday Night Raw, where a match was interrupted by a guy cutting a promo on the stage when it should have nothing to do with it.
And then it went into the Dark Order segment. So it was really but what I'm more focusing on is the storyline of Daniel's huge botch, right? And then now they're making that, is maybe he's in his own head. Maybe he's afraid he can't do that. I think, to me, that's a real life storyline, right? If Daniels, he does the best moonsault ever a million times and all of a sudden he can't do it. All of a sudden he botches a move. Maybe he's like, oh, am I over the hill? Things like that. Regardless of where it was in the show or whatnot, I like that because that's realistic and people can relate to that. So that was just a small thing that I really took away from it. And I'm really interested to see where the Adam Page stuff goes. I think the dude he's got money written all over him. So whether it be main event, match with Kenny down the line, I don't know. Oh, and dude, who is Wardlow?
He's MJF's bodyguard, bro.
Yeah, who is he? What is he? I've never seen him. What? We were talking about this. We're like, oh, I've never seen him wrestle. And I'm like, I haven't either. And they're like, well, we're gonna see him in a cage match, so
we'll see. We'll find out how good he is.
Single H is down here. All the dogs, man. God bless them. All right, so listen, we wrapped up. We put a bow on AEW this week. Before we let you go, Joe, I want to hear what your match of the week was last week.
I'm sure it's probably something that's not surprising, but the match of the week from last week is Kazuchika Okada versus Kota Ibushi on night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. That to me was the best match of the weekend. Obviously it's debatable based off of people's preferences. That's cool, but for me it was the best match of this weekend. It was better than Okada and Naito, and I found it to be better than Ospreay and Takahashi. But to each his own, as someone famous would say. But that's the match of the week for me. What about you?
I like how you preface it by saying you like it better than 2 other matches, and both matches I was going to name. So you already undercut what I was going to say. My match of the week was Will Ospreay and Time Bomb. I could see. I mean, it was a toss up between that and Ibushi and Okada. But to me, what match had me physically jumping out of my seat more, and that was Will Ospreay. But there's no wrong answer. It was, like we said, it was 10 hours of great wrestling. There's bound to be some studs in there. What are you giving everybody to watch for this week, Joe? What are we watching?
I mean, I think I'll stay away from the obvious on this one, which is clearly Bobby Lashley versus Rusev on Raw this Monday. So I'll stay away from that. And I'll go with a match on NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2. That sounds like a long Star Wars movie title. I think that's what it is. Yes, NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2, Return of the Blackpool. It is Tyler Bate.
The Blackpool strikes back.
Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin on that card this weekend. Sunday, I believe, at noon Eastern time, it will be broadcast. I will try to avoid spoilers for that and watch it Sunday night. That will be my pick for what to watch for next week.
Once again, you've stolen my thunder here, so I'm going to go with my backup match. Gallus versus Imperium versus the Grizzled Young Vets versus Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Fatal. What?
I love the Mandrews reference. That's so good.
Oh. Fatal 4-way ladder match for the NXT Tag Team title. It's just going to be a bunch of dudes beating the shit out of each other, throwing themselves through a ladder and diving off things, and there's nothing Mandrews will not do, so I'm looking forward to that. But NXT TakeOver and Walter versus Joe Coffey is going to be a good match. It's going to be a really good show. Oh, did you see what just got announced for the Worlds Collide show, by the way?
I think, are you talking about Finn Balor versus Ilya Dragunov?
Un Basibar. I think that's how you say it, right? Basibar. Ilya.
I don't sprechen the English. I don't know.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? I'm cautiously optimistic about this show. Oh, cool. Ilya Dragunov is 10 years younger than me. Tight. 6. That's fine. It should be, the last NXT UK show was really good. I didn't finish watching this week's regular NXT show, but you know what I wouldn't do, Joe? I'm just going to, can I say something about NXT this week and then we'll let everybody get out of here?
Yeah, man. It's your show. You can say whatever you like.
I wouldn't have the first 36 minutes of my show be a Rhea Ripley promo followed by 6 other women walking out and then have a haphazard 6-woman tag. Not for nothing. Love Rhea Ripley in the ring. She does not need to be on the microphone, Joe. Not that much. Just saying. Am I alone in that one? Is that a hot take? Is that a cool take?
I honestly didn't see the segment, so I don't think it would be fair for me to comment on that. Generally, though, I will say I don't really like segments like that where it starts with a promo and then like 5 people come out to interrupt and then it ends up in a match. I think that's just way too long. Just make the match and have it.
There you go. Well, Mark Henry said Rhea Ripley is going to be the woman to transcend professional wrestling, much like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So.
Well, Mark Henry wants Orange Cassidy to be the AEW World Champion, so he can have his hot takes, and that's good for him. So I'm staying away from that.
Speak and no, I'm just kidding. Well, listen, we appreciate everybody checking us out this week for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to follow us everywhere you follow podcasts. Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker. I don't even know if we're on those anymore. No, we are. Blog Talk Radio, Spotify again, because that one is probably the best. But everywhere you can find us, All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, youtube.com/All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, facebook.com/All Night Long WP, and at All Night Long WP, every single place you go. And we have a special bonus episode coming up, a special listener request that we review. So we'll drop that at some point this weekend once I finish watching it tonight. For your host, he is the Stallion, I am the Enforcer, and another episode of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast is in the books, and we are tapping out.